Have you ever wondered what living in Russia really conceals? This is a nation where survival evolved into an art form, where men and women developed resilience that transforms them into almost mythical beings, where each day becomes a struggle between ancient traditions and modern ambitions that forge the planet's strongest character. Today, I'm going to reveal why Russia produces extraordinary people. From women who blend Slavic beauty with Siberian strength, to men who can survive conditions that would destroy any Westerner. But I'll also expose the brutal cost they pay. A lifestyle where elegance emerges from necessity, where culture is forged through adversity, and where living means being perpetually prepared for the impossible. Can you imagine existing in a country where winter can last 8 months, where history includes bloody revolutions every century, yet where people developed cultural sophistication, rivaling Paris, and physical endurance, surpassing Vikings? Russia isn't just a nation, it's a human laboratory, where extreme climate and brutal history created a unique civilization. But there's something Western documentaries will never tell you. Behind every Russian, man or woman, exists a survivor who learned that life without preparation means certain death, that culture without resistance is superficial, and that in a country where nature and politics can be lethal, only the most adaptable thrive. From Moscow oligarchs to Kamchatka fishermen, from babushkas who survived Stalin to young entrepreneurs in St. Petersburg, I'll take you on a journey revealing not only what living in Russia truly entails, but why this country produces people who fascinate and intimidate the entire world. Prepare to discover a society where every citizen inherits a culture, mixing imperial elegance with Soviet pragmatism, where legendary hospitality coexists with ancestral mistrust, where extreme luxury sits meters from the harshest poverty. But also prepare for the contradictions of living in the world's largest country. Are you ready to uncover the truth about Russian life? Because what follows will forever change your understanding of what it means to exist in the land of the Tsars. But before we continue, tell me in the comments, do you believe you could adapt to a lifestyle where strength and elegance are survival requirements? Which aspect of Russian culture seems most fascinating or intimidating to you? Hit like. If you want more videos about countries where extreme history forged unique civilizations, and subscribe to explore the planet's most challenging lifestyles. Share this video with someone who needs to understand Russian reality beyond political stereotypes, because this cultural perspective can completely transform your vision of this legendary country. To understand how Russian life shaped such extraordinary people, we must comprehend how centuries of extreme history created a culture where elegant survival became national identity from the Tsarist era through post-Soviet modernity. Russian lifestyle originated from the necessity of adapting to impossible conditions. During the empire, both aristocratic men and women developed routines, including education in multiple languages, basic military training, extreme cold resistance, and cultural sophistication rivaling Versailles. Men learned fencing, hunting, and diplomacy, while women mastered arts, languages, and management of vast estates. But both shared the need to survive in a system where politics could change your fortune overnight. During the Soviet era, Russian life transformed radically, but maintained its intensity. The system created citizens who had to be productive laborers, culturally sophisticated, physically resistant, and politically astute. Men worked in factories, mines, or the army while developing artistic or athletic skills in their free time. Women balanced full-time work, motherhood, and household maintenance, all while maintaining impeccable appearance with limited resources. Did you know Russian culture developed unique resistance traditions? The banya isn't just a bath, it's a purification ritual including extreme steam followed by snow immersion. Russian men use it for business networking and male bonding, while women maintain natural beauty traditions. The entire family participates in rituals that strengthen body and spirit. The dacha influence is also fundamental to understanding Russian life. During summer, families relocate to country houses where they develop self-sufficiency, growing food, repairing structures, and living connected to nature. Men become builders, mechanics and farmers, while women master food preservation, herbal medicine and rural domestic management. This urban-rural duality keeps Russians connected to practical survival skills. The Russian educational system also forged a unique culture. Both men and women receive extremely rigorous education, including advanced mathematics, classical literature, exhaustive history, and multiple languages. But it also includes military, physical education, survival training, and mandatory artistic development. It's a system producing engineers who play piano, soldiers who write poetry, and mothers who can teach calculus to their children. Military tradition also impacts civilian life. Russian men, regardless of profession, maintain military mentality, including iron discipline, group loyalty, and crisis preparation. Women developed complementary strength, ability to maintain families during prolonged male absences, scarce resource management, and raising resilient children. But what truly distinguishes Russian life is how these traditions adapt to global modernity. Now, let's get to current reality. What's it actually like living in modern Russia? And here's where millennial traditions clash with globalization, creating a unique lifestyle that produces extraordinarily adaptable and culturally sophisticated people. First, Russian urban lifestyle. In cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg, life includes extreme contrasts. You can breakfast in a cafe costing like Paris, work in crystal towers with cutting-edge technology, but commute home on Soviet metro and live in small apartments with 3 generations. Modern Russian men balance careers in international corporations with traditional family obligations, while women balance professional ambitions with expectations of domestic perfection. Did you know Russian networking functions differently from Western practices? Men develop business relationships through banya, vodka, and outdoor activities like fishing or hunting. Important meetings happen in saunas, not offices. Women maintain sophisticated social networks based on cultural gatherings, intimate dinners, and multi-generational family activities. Second factor, Russian work culture. Russian professionals developed work ethics, including extreme perfectionism, advanced multitasking, and ability to work under pressure that surprises international colleagues. Men frequently work in heavy industries, technology, or businesses, requiring extraordinary physical and mental resistance. Women dominate education, medicine, administration, and arts, frequently academically surpassing their male counterparts, but facing harder glass ceilings. Russian social life is also distinctive. Russian parties aren't casual events. They're elaborate productions that can last entire days, with specific rituals for each moment. Men participate in complex toasting traditions, alcohol resistance competitions, and intense political debates. Women organize dinners, requiring days of preparation, maintain sophisticated cultural conversations, and manage complex social dynamics between extended families. Third crucial element, constant preparation. Russians live as if always preparing for crisis. Men maintain repair skills, wilderness survival, and basic mechanical knowledge, regardless of profession. Women preserve traditions of food preservation, home medicine, and resource management that allow them to keep families functioning even in adverse conditions. And you know what's most impressive about Russian culture? The tradition of continuous education. Russians consider it shameful not to be constantly learning something new. Men frequently master multiple trades besides their main career, while women maintain active cultural and artistic interests throughout their lives. It's common to find engineers who build their own country houses or doctors who are also professional pianists. Seasonal influence also shapes life's rhythm. In winter, social life concentrates in warm, intimate spaces, long family gatherings, intense cultural activities, reading, and domestic hobbies. In summer, it explodes into outdoor activities, dachas, festivals, extreme sports, and social life that compensates for months of winter seclusion. But here's the most complex contradiction. This apparently perfect lifestyle hides brutal social and economic tensions. And this is where Russian life shows its most brutal side, because behind all this resistance and cultural sophistication exist social, economic, and emotional costs that very few foreigners manage to completely understand. First, explosive contradiction. Modern Russia is a country where higher education is almost universal, but economic opportunities are extremely concentrated. Russian men face the dilemma of being highly educated, but working jobs that pay salaries considered poverty level in the West. Women, despite academically surpassing men, face systematic workplace discrimination and social pressure to prioritize family over career. Did you know Russia has one of the world's most severe demographic crises? Russian men have a life expectancy 10 years lower than women due to alcoholism, workplace accidents, and high-risk lifestyles. This creates a society where millions of educated and beautiful women are condemned to loneliness, while surviving men face extreme social pressure to be perfect providers in a volatile economy. Second devastating revelation, the economic difference between Moscow, St. Petersburg versus the rest of the country is medieval. Muscovites live a cosmopolitan lifestyle, with salaries allowing international travel, expensive restaurants, and Western luxuries. But 80% of Russians live in regions where average salaries are $300–500 monthly, infrastructure can be deficient, and professional opportunities are practically non-existent. Russian work culture also hides serious problems. Men frequently work in dangerous industries, mining, oil, construction, with safety standards inferior to Western ones. Women face normalized workplace harassment and expectations to maintain perfect appearance regardless of their professional capabilities. And you know what's the most psychologically devastating contradiction? Russians are raised with expectations of extreme excellence in all life aspects, but live in a political and economic system that severely limits their opportunities to achieve those goals. This creates chronic frustration, manifesting in alcoholism, depression, and massive emigration of the most talented. Third social bomb. The Russian generational gap is brutal. Those over 40 lived through Soviet collapse and developed survival mentalities and mistrust toward change. Those under 30 grew up with internet and aspire to Western lifestyles, but live in Soviet economic realities. This tension creates intense family conflicts over values, expectations, and life decisions. The emigration issue is also devastating. Russia annually loses thousands of its most educated and talented citizens who emigrate seeking countries where their skills are better valued and compensated. Those who stay frequently develop resentment toward the West, but also frustration with their own system. Did you know there's a culture of double life among many Russians? Publicly, they maintain loyalty toward traditions and political system, but privately they criticize, plan emigration, or develop parallel businesses to survive economically. This duality creates constant psychological stress. Political influence also permeates daily life in ways Westerners don't understand. Casual conversations can become dangerous if they touch sensitive topics. Professional opportunities can depend on political connections, and family decisions are influenced by security considerations beyond economic ones. And the most shocking revelation, many Russians develop emotional survival strategies that include, after this deep journey through Russian reality, we reach the most important conclusion: Russians aren't extraordinary despite their challenges, but because of them. They've created a culture that transforms adversity into strength, scarcity into creativity, and limitations into opportunities for personal growth. The final synthesis about Russian life is fascinating. It's the only lifestyle in the world combining European sophistication with Asian resistance, imperial traditions with Soviet pragmatism, global ambitions with complex local realities. It's a culture producing people capable of discussing philosophy while repairing engines, creating art while surviving conditions that would defeat most Westerners. What makes living in Russia unique? It's the only country where you automatically develop survival skills ranging from physical resistance to extreme cultural adaptability. Russians learn to find beauty in simplicity, luxury in authenticity, and meaning in deep relationships rather than material possessions. The Russian experience teaches that true wealth isn't external resources, but internal capacity to create value, meaning, and beauty regardless of circumstances. Russians developed mastery in transforming limitations into advantages, crises into opportunities, and survival into the art of living. Is experiencing Russian life worthwhile? Absolutely, but you must understand it's not a Western comfort lifestyle. It's an intense growth experience that teaches about resistance, creativity, and the importance of authentic human relationships over material conveniences. For those who admire Russian culture, the secret isn't romanticizing their hardship, but learning their lessons. The capacity to maintain elegance under pressure, to cultivate inner wealth regardless of external circumstances, and to develop deep loyalties that transcend temporary conveniences. For men wanting to incorporate Russian strength, learn their non-negotiable discipline, their constant preparation for adversities, and their ability to maintain personal honor regardless of external pressures. For women who admire Russian elegance, adopt their philosophy of creating beauty from limited resources, maintaining cultural sophistication as priority, and developing emotional independence that doesn't sacrifice femininity. Russian life is that unique combination where survival becomes art, where resistance produces wisdom, and where external limitations strengthen inner wealth. It's living proof that the deepest civilizations are born not from ease, but from the capacity to transform challenges into opportunities for transcendence. Russians have perfected the art of living intensely, finding meaning in adversity, and maintaining hope facing circumstances that would defeat less resistant cultures. Their lifestyle isn't just a way to survive. It's a masterclass on becoming the strongest and most authentic version of yourself. Which destination should we explore next to discover cultures that forge extraordinary character through extreme challenges? You decide.